we might have covered them. Yeah, equals to, not equals to. Boolean and string operators. Okay. So Boolean and string operators. So Boolean operators, logical not, it inverts the output. If it's true, it converts it to false. If it's false, it changes it to true. Hyphen O, logical or, returns true even at least one of the conditions is true, and logical and uh, returns true only if both the conditions are true. Okay, so just it's logical nor and or nor. Okay, and operators for string operators. So when you want to check that if A is equals to 10 and B is equals to 5, how are you going to compare them? A equals to B, that is not going to work because they are, no, it is not 5 equals to 8. It is numbers where we are comparing. Here it is actually a variable which we are trying to compare. Okay. So in such a scenario, or else if you are trying to compare strings, this $A is equals to $B. Okay. And, similarly, $A not equals to $B. Hyphen Z checks whether it is of 0 length. Okay, if it is of 0 length, then it returns true, and if it is non-zero, it returns hyphen. If hyphen n, it returns true if it is non-zero. Str checks if it is not an empty string or not. Okay, if it is an empty string, then it returns false. If it is not an empty string, then it returns true. Okay. So I'm trying to create a new instance. Yeah, it's okay. This instance is looking good. It's got some IP. Try to do an SSH. We'll do an SSH so that we can run a few programs. I get open. Socializer. -i switch to root, gem update just
Spandana, funny here.
Yeah, funny, tell me.
I'm getting some disturbance from your end, like echo sound. Like
You're getting an echo sound from my side.
I'm not sure from your end or someone else end, but I'm getting some lot of disturbance.
Fine, then you can able to rejoin once. Why? Because I'm not able to get any echoes.
Now it is fine. Now it is fine. Can you mute yourself?
Now from the first onwards I muted. Just now I unmute from I am speaking.
That's what. Now it is fine. Just mute yourself. Okay. Again, I'm getting. Okay. I'll rejoin.
Yeah.
Same problem. Shiva, can you unmute yourself? Okay. Okay. Let's continue. Okay. If you are on unmute, if you.
That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes few instances will not work properly. So that's
Okay.
what I
Okay.
was trying to figure out. That's it.
Okay.
So, okay. Okay, so I mean, we'll try to run programs. Just put it aside. Let me just complete explanation of decision making and without control statements. We'll quickly jump into and start doing small programs. Okay. So now coming to decision making and control statements. Okay. So what is decision making? You know, why do you need this control statements and all? Okay. So if at all there is a condition, if at all you have to execute some scenario wherein you have to search for some criteria, okay, and then only execute it, not run it all the time, but execute it only when a particular criteria is met. In such scenarios, you take help of decision making statements and control statements. Okay. Okay, and not only that, if you feel that as long as the so and so condition is true, I want to go ahead and execute the below set of statement block. Actually, in such scenario, you actually need decision making statements. Okay, so they're also called as control statements. So it's because they are controlling the flow of the program. Actually, so how are they controlling? So if you write a condition and say that let's run execute the below statement block only if the condition is true, says that you're trying to control this entire control this small program with a with a condition saying that, see, if at all it is met, only go and execute the statement block, which means that this particular condition is trying to control the entire statement block, right? So similar way, um, we have if else, okay, and if elif, okay, and case statement, okay, and while. For looping, actually, let's leave looping, and but for decision making we have if else, if elif, and case statements, okay. So what is if elif, if else, and case, okay. So how do they differ, okay. So what is the syntax of if? It clearly speaks that if some expression to be evaluated, okay, and within the then block, okay, you have to write what is the statement that has to be evaluated. If at all the expression what you have marked is true, if at all this expression is true, then you should come down and execute this set of statements, whatever is written with, next to the then block, and then exit, okay. So it is to check only if one condition is met, okay. So see, if I have to check if a is equals to 5, yes, I'll write if a is equals to 5, okay, then I'll say echo a is equals to 5, very simple, and I'll exit from there, okay, which it checks that whether a is equals to 5. If a is equals to 5, it prints a value, okay. Now, when we have the same, why are we looking for some other looping statement? Simple. So now in this scenario, I'm checking a is equals to 5, right? A is not equals to 5. How am I going to acknowledge the system back saying that, hey, a is not equals to 5? Okay. In such scenario, we need if else, okay, which does nothing but it executes the true block and it executes the false block as well, okay. Coming to false block, it executes if at all it is, in else part we write it is containing nothing but the false block, which gets executed only when the statement fails, okay. And these are just, this is just a few, small example, and before we actually start something, let me explain you an important point. So shell doesn't have braces, so nowhere you're going to start something with a brace, any loops or syntactical wise, you don't have any braces. If something like, this, probably, to the right hand side, okay, and then something, it's not this way, okay, but it's in this way, this if, right, in some statement block it's not written within a curly braces, but it is written with some indentation, okay. So what is this indentation? What is indentation? Indentation is nothing but the spacing, actually what we are calling as spacing. So if and then should be written in same line, so that these are commands which needs to be executed one after the other, okay. So after that, within then you have written some statement, actually you have you going to write in other programming languages, you're going to include it within a set of braces, so that it executes that, hey, this is something which is inside the if loop, okay. So whatever you have to write within that, you have to give a spacing, usually four empty spaces, that spacing is considered as a, spacing. Normally it is spaced in with 4 empty spaces, anything, but it is not 4 empty spaces is nothing a mandatory stuff. It is all how we how we actually, write a program, okay. So you can place 3 spaces, 2 spaces, everything, it's all up to you. So without a proper indentation, if you're not writing anything over here, it doesn't know what this then statement is having. It considers this to be something outside the if loop, not within the if loop, okay. So that is the reason indentation is very important. When a small mistake and with indentation will actually cause failure of programs, okay. So F5 is again for every loop you start, you're supposed to close it. If, fi, and then, or else. All of them has to be placed within the same line. All the statement blocks should be placed with some spacing or indentation. Okay. So if else, okay. So if just the syntax, if then statements to be executed if if expression is true, else statements to be executed if expression is not true, and then again it closed F5. So when which scenario do we need it? So it's if A is equals to 5 or A is equals to B or something in such scenario. Let's say output, we are trying to fetch output of one operation. Okay, let's say you have run a small command, so you want to just check echo dollar question mark gives you the output of the previous operation whichever is running. So let's say you have executed some command and you have given echo dollar question mark. So now echo dollar question mark returns either 0 or 1. Okay, so if it is equals to 0, okay, so then you print it is been successfully executed. Else you go ahead and print there are only two conditions to be validated, 0 or not 1. If it is not 0, it could be something else. So anything else than 0 says that it has failed. If it is not 0, then you go ahead and say that, hey, echo dollar question mark is not equals to 0, which means the output of the command which is executed before is not successful, it has failed. Very simple. So here just we have written with a few numbers and just to demonstrate. So it is A equals to 10 and B equals to 20. If both conditions are met, then it goes ahead and says that A is equals to B, or else it will say that A is not equals to B. Okay, simple. And if and if, okay. So this is nothing but a nested if loop. Okay, so why do we have a requirement for a nested if loop? So more than one condition has to be evaluated. Okay, so in such scenario we use if loop, if loop. Okay, so first I checked if A is equals to 5. Okay, then I'll say A is equals to 6, or else A is equals to 7, A is equals to 8, A is equals to 9. End of the day I'll say, if A is not among 5 to 9, I'll say hey, it's not present. So an else statement is also required in that scenario. So how this syntax goes is, if within braces the expression 1, then few set of statements to be executed, then again expression 2, again the statement true block statements that needs to be executed. See, it is, and all this should be in proper line actually. This statements within this block and statement within this block, everything should be placed in a proper line. If it is not again placed in a proper line, again it will result in errors. Okay, so maximum errors we get because of indentation. Okay, because we might just miss a small empty space, or you just gave a tab space or something, and earlier you have given 3 or 4 empty spaces, and next time you've given a tab space, which is not, it was an overlook, we didn't see. Once we have given four empty spaces, another time 3 empty spaces, again results in errors. Okay, it's a very simple program. If A is equals to B, it says it's A equals to B, and it checks if it's greater than or equals to greater than B or less than B. Earlier we are checking if A equals to B. If A equals to B, we are printing it, or else we are printing it's not equals to. Now we are checking not only equal to but greater than or less than as well. If it is nowhere related there, then it says that either it should be greater than or less than. In a worse situation, it goes ahead and says none of the condition is met. Yeah. So what is case statement? So case statement searches, it is also similar to that if elif and all, but it searches for a pattern actually. It searches for a pattern, and whatever set of statements you have respective to that pattern would be executed to true, or else they will be executed as false. Here you said apple, so echo $fruit. Okay, case $fruit in. So you said fruit is equals to something, and if fruit is between the set of the patterns which you have, okay, find that fruit and then print whatever is there respective to it, or else print or else it will not print anything. Okay, that is about case. So now let's quickly jump into let's take it out as of now. Quickly start off and keep modifying it. mkdir programs, cd programs. Okay. Yeah. Shell script file, what is the extension? .sh. Insert more. That instead of sh, just .sh. Okay. So it says A is not equals to B. Let's see what did we write in our program. It says if A is equals to B equals to 10 and B equals to 20. If A is equals to B, then it says that go ahead and print A is equals to B, or else print A is not equals to B. I've just written two if loops, okay? Checks for both of the conditions and it prints whatever it finds, okay? So now as A not equals to B, so it has printed A is not equals to B. Let's say just wanted to check if both loops are working fine. It says A is equals to B, okay? So how does this actually function as if loop? Funny, or should I explain you?
Would be better if you can explain.
Yeah, fine. So how an if loop would work is, so if loop would start here initially. Let's say it starts here. So coming to if loop, it comes here. It checks the if condition. So what is if condition? $A equals to B. So now starts saying $A. What is $A? It is 10 and $B 10. So 10 equals to 10. Yes, the condition is met. If the condition is met, then it goes to the then part, okay, and goes into the statement block and executes whatever it is written inside it and exits it. So now see this scenario. 10 not equals to 10. This condition has failed. So now it will not even go to the then part, but it will totally exit from the loop. It will not touch the then part. It touches then part only when the statement block is true. That is the reason why only one statement is executed, another statement is not executed. Okay, so this is how an if loop works. Let's say it is an if else loop. How do we say,
To say, so you mean to say fi is nothing but else?
No. Fi is nothing but close of if loop.
Okay.
So this is two set of loops which let me don't delete it. Okay, this is our if loop, very simple. So what do we have in if loop? We have just two variables we have, which has some value. I'm saying if equals to B, then go ahead and print it as equal. Okay, that's it. So now how if loop works, how this program actually works is initially when it starts #bin/sh, which includes a library. So after that it says A equals to 10. How we assign value to a variable in shell script is directly A equals to 10. It's not that where int a equals to 10, float b is equals to 20. This is not the way you declare it. It automatically assumes the data type. So a is equals to 10. Normal programming, you have to specify the data type, but when you come to scripting, you need not do that. Okay. So a is equals to 10, b is equals to 10. Very simple. It is taken two values now. So now in backend, it has two variables as of now created, which has both has a value of 10 each. So now it comes to if loop, checks for condition. If it is true, then it goes ahead and executes the else then block, or else it does fi directly. This then, whenever then is called, only this set of statement block is called. When then is called, if the statement is true, then this condition is called, or else it will directly come to fi and exit from there. So as we did earlier, let's put 20. So sh test.sh, it says it doesn't give us any output. Why? Because a is equals to 10 and b is equals to 20. A not equals to b. A is equals to b means it is not equal in such condition. So a is 10 not equals to 20. So what is happening? The condition is failing. That's the reason why it is not going inside the loop but exiting from there. Okay. So similarly, let's see the syntax, how if else works. Okay. So when you come to if else, how is it working? So it has, if has some expression, it's true, then this block will be executed. Okay. This is about if, or else it comes out. This set of statement is not there for if. So what is the difference? If this statement fails, it will not touch then, the statement block under then, but it touches the statement block under else and executes it. Okay. So this is how it works. So check searches for a condition. If it is true, then it goes to this block and it exits. It will not touch else part. If at all this condition is false, it goes to else. It executes whatever statements you have under else and then exits. Okay. Let's just modify our program.
Hello? Hello?
Shiva, Funny, you're speaking with me or you're on call?
Yes, sir. అది నేను పోల్చేద్దాం అనుకున్నాను మా ఫ్రెండ్ తన వేరే నేను వచ్చేసి 80,000 సో కరెంట్ మీనింగ్ పోల్చేద్దాం అనుకున్నాను. Sure. నేను నా ఈమెయిల్ నేను నా ఈమెయిల్లో నా యాడ్లో నా ఈమెయిల్ ఇచ్చాను కదా. సో అట్లీస్ట్ మీరు దాన్ని ఒకసారి రివర్ట్ చేయండి.
Hello.
So we have a statement block actually. So if and else. So if you know, when we have validated ifs in if condition. So if a is equals to b, then we say a is equals to b. You know, this way to write. Else block we have written a small else statement. So just trying to verify whether the else part is being hit or not. So when condition fails, it is going ahead to the else block and then executing the statements or whatever we have written within the else block. This is how if else works actually. So sh test.sh, it has gone into the else part because a true condition has failed. You know, a is 10 not equal 10 equals to 20 has failed. So that's the reason why it has gone to else block. So let's see how. Let's write it here. Now first statement should be executed, right? Very simple. Yeah, first statement is executed. It's not the second statement which is executed. Similarly, we have if else block, just a small we are running out of time. It says a equals to 10, b equals to 20. Okay, so if $a equals to b, then print a is equals to b. If both are equal, then it prints this block. Else, if $a is greater than $b, which means 10 greater than 20, that scenario it prints this. It fails. If $a less than b, which means 10 less than 20, yes. See, this scenario should work out now, and then it should print. If it is none of them, then it goes ahead and prints none of the conditions met. Okay? It should print third condition. If sh t1.sh a is less than b, right? Because 10 is less than 20, that is a true condition. We'll just try to change values and see how it works. Let's say a is equals to 100. Now a is greater than b should be executed, right? Right. So let's see how it actually works. Now a value is assigned 100, b value is assigned 20. So now if first this condition is checked, hey, 100 equals to 20, no, it has failed. So it will ignore the then whatever statements you have written in then block and go to next elif. Okay, and checks next elif means next condition checks. 100 greater than 20, yes, it is true. So now it comes here and prints the statement, and what do we think? We think that it again goes to the elif block and tries to check for some other condition and print. No, it will not do it. From there, as soon as this it has printed this, it will exit the loop. Okay, it will exit the loop. It keeps on checking for at least one statement to be true. If is true, it will execute true if and exit. If elif is true, it executes elif and then exits. Nothing is true, then it executes else part and then it doesn't exit. Which it is not going to execute if and then again go and execute the elif statement, then execute elif statement and then execute else statement. It's not going to do it. is going to check for a condition. Whichever condition is met, it tries to execute it and then comes out of the loop. Okay, this is how an if else works. Okay, so
Spanna,
just yeah, tell me, Funny.
I'm sorry to disturb you. I have a doubt
Uh-huh.
here. So like so for example, like our third statement is correct. Okay.
Huh.
So it executes the third output, right? Echo A is less than B. Okay.
Yes,
So I
yes.
wanted to check like if one statement is correct, and I want to check the other condition. Look, like A is equal to B or something like that. Okay. So one condition is correct, and I wanted to check multiple conditions for the same thing. So how can
Yeah.
I do that?
Okay. So simple. Now we are seeing, let's say if if A greater than B, okay, let's say that condition is met now, okay. So after A greater than B, now we want to check some other condition saying that is B greater than 10 or not, okay. You want to check some one more condition if B greater than 10 or not. In that condition, within this if loop,
I lost your voice. Hello?
hello, hello,
Yeah.
you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let's what are we trying to do? We are trying to check if B is greater than 10 or not. In that scenario, if $B hyphen sorry, greater than 10, okay, or else you have another variable C. Let's say while writing a value directly, let's say C is equals to 10. I have to check if at all A is greater than B. Now we want to check if A is greater than C as well. Very simple. If A is greater than B. So now we want to check if A is greater than C as well and try to print C among three integers which we have, A is the greatest. You now check $C for it. Okay. So now $A is greater than $C. Then I'll print is greatest. Okay. So what did I do? I checked if A is greater than B. Yes, A is greater than B. Now I checked if A is greater than C. Yes, A is greater than C as well. Then it has printed A is greatest. Okay. So here with within one condition, we have tried to check some other condition for it inside it. Okay. So it is called nested if loops. So an if loop within an if loop is called as a nested if loop actually. So within one if loop, it could be if else or if elif. Within one if loop, we have written some other if loop. So which is which says that this loop is nested within something. Okay, this is called as nested if loop. So inside this also you have written some other condition. It's not only if, you can write if else inside it. Yeah, you can write if elif inside it. It depends whatever you can write for loop inside it. It depends what you want to write inside it. That's it. So you're clear, Funny, here? Hello.
I'm sorry.
Hello.
I'm on mute. Okay. Can you
Yeah.
execute the script? Can you execute the script again?
Yeah. A is greater than B and A is greatest. Let's say
Okay.
what
Okay.
on
I got it. I got it. Thanks, Vandana.
just for understanding. Touched if oh so just hold on.
Nisham. Are you there? Hello. Spandana, I can't able to hear you.
1 minute, Funny.
Okay.
Yes.
Spandana, we can
Hello.
able to hear you now.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So no. So usually we put print statements just to debug if at all the loop is being hit or not, or whether the program is getting into that loop or not, just to check, validate that. We actually put print statements and just try to check it in the real time scenario. Okay. So probably we will continue with we'll continue with if, elif and case and next looping statements in next class. So any doubts so far, Funny?
Currently, no doubts, Spandana. So Shiva has told me like we can have the class on this weekend as well. So are you fine with that?
I mean, Shiva has told you it's Shiva who decides it, okay?
Okay.
So, and it is, I should be, all of the candidates should be, willing to go ahead, 1 or 2 days we can go ahead without all the candidates, but not every day,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So it's up to all of them. So if everyone joins, Shiva would for sure organize a class. There's no harm for Shiva conducting a class, not me explaining.
And one
Both
more
are
thing is that can you extend classes bit at least another half an hour, like not on today. If it is possible, if you can take the class at least 1.5 hour, we can complete it as less possible, right? So we are gonna discuss only 1 hour in the minimum topics, and at least uh, one or two topics we are gonna cover, right?